I have a new hobby that I need to share. So if you've ever talked to me in real life, you definitely know that I am way too into movies. I talk about them way too often, and it probably drives people away. But online, there's basically a constant discussion about every movie ever made. Now, I know that movies are art. They're subjective, and each person will have their own opinion on it. But there are some movies that are near unanimous. Now, I started to do this like at the end of class when teachers would be done teaching us, and then they would leave us like 3 or 4 minutes at the end of class to do whatever we want, and I knew I wouldn't get anything done in that time anyways. So I took it upon myself to look up some of the best movies and scroll down to the 1-star reviews. No, I'm not going to be looking at Metacritic or Rotten Tomatoes because those are actual movie sites for people who might know what they're doing. No, I'm looking at the Google reviews because people who really care about movies look at the Google reviews. Alright, so first off, there's a movie called Citizen Kane. Now, if you haven't heard of it before, it's something that most people who want to learn about film will start with because it was made in 1941 and it was pretty revolutionary in how movies were made. Today, it still has a 100% on Rotten Tomatoes. Bored me to tears, man, and to the surprise, people are praising it so much. Why, dude? Why at first I thought it's not the movie I am watching that people are praising it so much I may be watching some different one by mistake, but sadly it was the one it was boring to death had. Well, it was made in the 40s. It can come off as pretty boring sometimes. Everyone has their own opinion. It's hard to watch. Good for its time, maybe. Not the timeless masterpiece it's made out to be, for sure. That's fair. Really Bad is black and white. I hate it. Really, really bad. I don't understand. Movie is out. I don't get it. Bad movie. 11 people found that helpful. Thought this was about that WWE bloke. Turns out he's some old bloke that don't know no bear about Nank. You know, I'd have to agree. Another movie that will be praised most of the time online is 2008's Dark Knight, directed by Christopher Nolan. This movie is really praised for its incredible writing and for the performances of Heath Ledger and Christian Bale. It's pretty rare to see complaints about this movie, so the 1-star reviews must have some really beneficial things to say. Long, drawn-out, boring movie. Around the 3rd hour of watching this pathetic movie, He drove out of his window just to get away from the movie and realized I lived on the 1st floor. I came back 2 hours later and it was still playing. Let me do some quick research here. Yeah, the movie's 2 hours and 44 minutes. What was BCC watching? I don't like bats, they made Corona. My favorite part about that one is that 65 people found it helpful. Alright, next movie is The Green Mile. This movie is really good. Good movie. Wow, so good. Movie loved it. Kids did too. So if you don't know, The Green Mile is about a man who works on death row and about an innocent man being executed. I'd watch it with my kids too. Noah Parker contributes. Yeah, I really felt that when he got shocked. I got shocked on my electric fence a lot too. Another Christopher Nolan movie is Inception. Yes, it was famous for being a movie that not everybody got. It's a little full of itself sometimes, but overall the writing is pretty incredible. Should have been more intuitive. The concept is great, but what's the importance when viewers are not even able to understand? After Tenet came to theaters, I basically had the same opinion about that, but Inception was a movie that I had to watch multiple times to truly see the value in it, but, I see where he's coming from. Because it was kind of confusing to watch. I thought I was going to be a Minecraft type or Pokemon movie. 1 star, my mom came in my room of me watching the movie in my underwear in the dark.
Not cool, dudes.
Angel Shailene says, it was not easy to understand what this movie was about. It's not Leo's fault. The director wasn't James Cameron. Correct? My brother became psychotic after watching this bloody movie, so never ever watch it. The instructions were unclear. My mom is stuck in the toilet now. Thanks, Yosef. Alright, spoiler alert. Ben Doyle says, terrible ending, you never find out if it was a dream or not.
Hey Ben. That's kind of the point of the movie.
Another really famous movie is 1975's Jaws. It did spark a bunch of sequels. I have not seen any of them, but You know, held up pretty well over the years. It totally gave sharks a bad reputation. Now people hurt and now people kill and hunt sharks just because of an entirely fictional movie. The only times there are accidents with sharks is when we have low visibility in the water and think we're food. Or are curious and take a small bite of us, which to us is huge. I think any bite from a shark would not be ideal. But I genuinely didn't know about this seeming team of environmentalists defending sharks because of Jaws. This is a PSA. I would like to apologize to any sharks that feel stereotyped by the movie Jaws. This movie relies on giving kids the nightmares, getting eaten by fake sharks and blood everywhere. This is not a good movie for kids. It is not good for the environment. Now that I think about it, those are my two favorite parts of movies. Not good for kids, not good for the environment. This film made such damage to sharks as a species. That is terrible. Nothing new for Hollywood. You seriously think that stereotyping sharks is the worst thing that Hollywood has done? Second best shark movie, right after the Sharknado franchise.
Too many of them! We're gonna need a bigger chopper!
Claudia, move!
I'll have to believe you on that one. I think Gabriel Cardenas sums it up most by saying, "This film makes me literally want to fart." I gotta say, I relate. And as many of you may know, The Shawshank Redemption is one of the best reviewed movies of all time. Bad movie, no popcorn given when I started watching. So did you say hello, hello, hey, hey. I did a great time in my mind. I got a good suit for my mom. I got get into your nitro on my nitro. I don't want to see it, guys. So you know when you're like texting somebody and there's like the autosuggest button? I'm pretty sure he just hit the middle button, you know, and it shows random words like autosuggest over and over and over again to make his whole review 3 months ago. So I'm glad he was able to help out those two people. It is an immensely watchable movie. Not unwatchable. It is immensely watchable, and those who have not seen it have missed out on one of the best movies. 1 star. Not everybody is a Marvel fan, but Avengers Endgame was at one point the highest grossing movie of all time. But it definitely wasn't perfect. Let's look at some honest complaints. This is the most overrated film that will remain possibly unmatched for centuries, if not millennia, to come back in the history of filmmaking. The majority of the film is slow, boring, excessively long. It could have been better if it was shorter, less talking, more action. Now that I think about it, there really wasn't much action in Avengers Endgame. You're right. I'm gonna cry right now. It's so sad. Why this movie? I just watched it. The world as I know it is collapsing before my eyes. Because of this, my boyfriend broke up with me because he let me choose it, and he said to make sure it was a happy movie. This went totally wrong and just tore my whole life apart even more with COVID. Can anyone relate? I don't think so. Just tell me how to get a grip on the world right now. Can someone check on Bella? Alright, I think I know how this played out. Hey babe, let's watch something. You wanna pick? Oh, okay. I haven't seen this movie yet. Babe! Why is he fat? I don't know. Babe! Why is he old? I don't know. Why is he dead? I don't know. I'm breaking up with you! Let's keep scrolling. Probably the most interesting thing I found in this section of Avengers Endgame reviews was very extensive reviews of Star Wars The Rise of Skywalker. I don't know if this is ironic, if this is a joke, or if people were just so proud of their incredibly detailed reviews of these movies that they wanted to post them to different movies as well. Though not entirely its fault, Star Wars Rise of Skywalker fails to live up to the original trilogy, playing it safe by banking on the legacies of old characters while trying to push forward the next generation of rebels and make the movie seem conflicted and unsure of itself. New Melody, given what we had to work with, I'm surprised Abrams managed to pull off anything, but in this film, not optimizing the flaws of the Disney trilogy, certainly is reflective of it. My favorite part about this Star Wars review of Avengers Endgame is that it's not the only one. So I first like the movie to end with the Resistance Ray finally saw the Empire. Speaking of Star Wars, I think a fun way to finish this off would be to look at the original 1977 Star Wars movie. Because it was the first in a major franchise that would become a worldwide phenomenon, one day being worth $68.7 billion. That means the original must be pretty good, right? This movie was absolutely disgusting. I couldn't even finish my meal. There is this donkey in my school who absolutely despises this movie series. If he sees any of the merchandise, he will burn it to a crisp, then feed it to his dog for dinner. He then will continue to burn his dog. Don't know if we can put violence against dogs in a Sightline video. This movie was actually so despicable, it made my earlobes appealing. I've always wanted to have more appealing earlobes. This movie was bad. BDA, bad. And I even went to California to escape myself when the fat and. Swift Spade lets us know with his review that this is the worst movie I've ever seen in my life. I want my money back. This was the worst experience. Out of all experiences that a human can have, this was the worst experience. Overrated, boring, everyone should watch Twilight instead. Adam Newman says, once again, another movie that I don't plan to watch. Sounds boring, and I don't like your sci-fi stuff. So yeah. Movie was worse than all the sequels. At least the sequels have an actual plot. Spoilers, the Empire nukes the world and everyone dies. Star Wars is the worst movie ever created. Too much CGI and green screen stuff. Nugget this. Dude, I hate it when movies get nuggeted. This movie is the worst movie I've ever watched. Luke Skywalker is like 2 years old. Alright, thanks for watching, and if you have some free time, I would definitely recommend doing this. It's a blast.
Name mispronunciation speed round. 3, 2, 1, go!
Sophia Nikolakopoulos, Stan Van de Burke, Matilda Quartano, Gabriel Cardenas, Patrick Gupta, Pratik Gupta. Alright, let's hear from Felipe Arditi Malfitani. Felipe Arditi Malfitani.